What's going on, everyone? It's Ty again. Hello. For those of you who don't know, I'm a guy who's got ankylosing spondylitis. I've had it since I was 14 years old. I'm 32 years old now. I struggled with drugs. I struggled with doctors. I struggled with the condition for a good 10 years. So up until I was about 24, until I really started to take all of my conditions seriously and I started really obsessing with health. The main thing I want to talk about today is coping with pain and just dealing with pain outright. And it's fucking pain sucks. It's awful. But the one thing that really changed and turned my entire life around was when I stopped listening to my body in a way. So I know everyone says listen to your body, and to an extent you do, but when you have ankylosing spondylitis, it adds a level of challenge it's like a little bit more difficult to discern, okay, is this good or is this bad? And the only way that you can actually do that is by trying something different. So ankylosing spondylitis, I feel like what it does is it kind of throws a stick in your spokes when it comes to listening to your body. Because when you get a pain response, what you really want to do is just do nothing. That's kind of what pain tells you to do. It's like you need to recover, you need to relax, and it cues you to like, okay, time to go lie down, time to go sit down. And what I did and what I learned to do was every time I was in pain, I did the complete opposite. I did not sit down. I didn't lie down. I stopped doing that completely. Obviously, there's times where I would buckle completely. Like if I literally can't walk because my sciatica was so bad, or I get like flare-ups in my rib cage sometimes and it causes me to like really stiffen up, and sneezes kind of freak me out and all that stuff. But at the same time, I literally never stop moving. Like I will laugh with my wife as I hobble around the kitchen fully gibbled. And I think it's one of those things that I don't know if other people do this, but I literally work through the pain. And as I move more and more and more, it always gets better. Like literally all the time. Whenever I speak, I always say always or all the time. And I mean, it's not great for YouTube videos and getting really specific with all this shit, but you kind of know what I'm saying. It is literally almost all the time that this kind of stuff works. So I noticed that there was a really, really noticeable correlation with my pain and my food intake. And that's something that I don't know if a lot of people really hone in on. And this is where I don't necessarily listen to my body, but I pay attention to what I'm putting in my body. I noticed that a lot of processed foods really cause pain. Legitimately. I went from eating probably a pretty semi-regular diet with a fair bit of junk food in there. And I would say in today's age, that's very common. I went from that to like paleo. Paleo, I learned a bunch of things for myself. And then I went to keto. I learned, again, a bunch of things about myself. And then I went back to paleo, went to veganism, went to vegetarianism, went back to keto. And now I have a bit of a hybrid model of, it's more like paleo with a little bit of, I'll throw in pasta and stuff like that. Because I find if I have it in moderate amounts, it's okay. But moderate is very specific. Like if I have it twice a week, that's kind of the most that I can have. I really can't overdo it. And the reason why I'm saying this, and the reason why I'm not going to get into really specific food intake, is because at the end of the day, we all have different bodies. Like we fully do. And I'm entirely a believer of like, you are independent and unique and you need to figure it out for yourself. I just want to say that like, you need to experiment to find out how food's affecting your body. That's just my opinion with this condition. Like you don't fuck around, do the work. Because what I noticed was a night and day difference. I noticed it with my mental fog, because I know a lot of you guys get that. I noticed it with my fatigue in general. I noticed it with my flare-ups. I noticed it with my regular chronic pain. And what I found is that it usually takes a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days for anything to show up sometimes. If you're not very good at referencing your past and paying very close attention and having a lot of self-awareness, write this shit down, because trust me, you'll at least find out valuable information. At the end of the day, I feel like this whole condition is about self-exploration, because there are things that will make it worse, 100%. I guess the main thing that I'm trying to communicate about this condition that's really, really difficult for people to wrap their head around, because it's not fun to accept, is that this condition it will try to take you down. Like let's look at it that way. To me, the way that I focus on my condition is that it's like an enemy within me that works 24 hours a day. And the only way that I can overcome it is truly by outworking it and outsmarting it. And it will do insidious shit. Like it will make you feel like you're in pain. It will make you feel like you don't want to do stuff. And you need to find the discipline and the motivation to get into habits that you know work against the condition. It's one of those things that I feel bad in some ways that a lot of us or a lot of you guys have to go through this kind of thing. But truly the way that I think about this condition, for me personally, to make it a positive swing, is that it's a gifted curse. It makes me as healthy as I possibly can be all the time. Honestly, like I can never be unhealthy. I can never, ever stop. I have to make sure that if my stress is high, I need to take a rest. I need to meditate. I need to relax. I might need to sleep more. I might need to change my balance. I might need to change my career. There's so many things that I've had to do in my life to get ahead of this condition. And it's one of those things that I know you can do it, because I've done it. Again, this is all just my opinion. I need to keep saying that because I'm afraid that some people this might not work as well for, but I know there's got to be a shitload of you guys that what I'm doing works with. I guarantee some of you can completely turn your lives around. And yeah, I want you guys to do well. I really do, because I understand how fucked up it is when you're feeling bad and you don't know how to get out of it. And truthfully, the only way to get out of it is just by like constantly obsessing and experimenting. It's not a perfect science either. It's go out, try something for 30 to 60 days, and then try something else. Go back to where you were before. You have to do these case studies on yourself in order to figure out what's working for you and what's not. And it takes a shitload of effort. And I know it's not fun to think about. But if I told you right now that if you did this for the next 2 years, if you constantly kept experimenting for the next 2 years, if you constantly tried different exercise routines, different diets, different ways of managing your stress, and I said in 2 years you will feel 80% better about your condition, who wouldn't do that? And like for me, I would say it's probably been in the ballpark of like 95%. My condition has gotten better. Honestly, I still deal with like new things that come up. Like recently, my hands have been getting arthritis. My feet have been getting arthritis. I've got gout. That's a thing that's showing up. But it's one of those things that like, it's just a constant adaptation, right? Like that's really what it feels like. And when you start getting in the mindset that you know you need to adapt, you know that you can do it. You know it's a pain in the ass. You might gripe about it for a week or two, and then you'll just get back on that bandwagon and start changing your life up again, because it's worth it. Because what you do now can help you be more functional in the future. And if you're feeling good, you know that maintaining that will maintain functionality today. It's a no-brainer. And I just want to say, for those of you who aren't trying enough or don't know what to do, get out, start experimenting, do a lot of research, look into low inflammation diets, look into low inflammation habits, and make sure that you keep an eye on your stress levels, because those definitely cause flare-ups. I'm going to keep making these YouTube videos because I think it can be really helpful to just talk about experiences when you're going through stuff that's working. All right, that's it for me. I'm done. You guys have yourselves a wonderful fucking day. Get out there and try very hard. All right, see ya.